Well, I noticed a lot of new faces this evening, and I'm so glad you all came. And I want you to know that this is a safe place to share. So if you want to tell us your story, there'll be no judgment.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and as many of you know, I have a problem. I'm addicted to cars. I also have another problem. The sun's in my eyes. Let's move over a little bit, see if that makes it better. So, long time no talk, you guys. For those of you keeping track, it's been months since I made a video, and I've got several projects, not necessarily projects, but new additions to our family of cars that I've not shown you yet. And just a lot going on, and haven't really felt like making videos, so no excuses. I don't think anybody's holding their breath for these videos. I think you guys enjoy them, and I enjoy making them, and if nothing else, I've got a record of the cars that I've been able to enjoy over the years. I guess a quick update on the last car I made a video of, which was my 1973 Mercedes 280 base model. I was able to make some progress. I changed the wheels and tires. I found a really cool set of rims that I'll show you here, and I will try to remember to put the description, put the link in the description to the company that made them, because it's a local place here in Southern California in the Valley. And I did some vinyl wrap to them to try to mimic the old school original wheels that I like so much. They were just so small, and I wanted something bigger. I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% thrilled with the results. I think the tires I got were too big. The rim size was perfect. The tire size was a little too much sidewall. And then I did try the porta-walls, which I think a lot of people will be mixed on, and I was mixed on. But ultimately, with that size of a sidewall, I think the porta-wall broke it up nicely, and I was ultimately glad that I did it. I don't know that I would do it again. I would rather have real white walls, but under the circumstances, I was not able to find white walls in that size at that time, at least the place I was at. So it was an interesting experiment with the porta walls. I don't think they're the worst thing in the world, but definitely not as good as a good old-fashioned white wall. So I will put lots of pictures and video or whatever I've got, I guess probably pictures here of the Mercedes, how it ended. But ultimately, somebody made me an offer that I could not refuse, and so I have where I'm sitting right now. So this is something a little bit different, something super cool, something back in the American muscle realm that I like so much. I think you guys might like it as well. So without further ado, take a look at my new baby. So yeah, that's it. It's a 1967 Buick Skylark, and this is the important part. This is a Buick Skylark 4-door hardtop. It's not a sedan, not just a standard 4-door. It's a 4-door hardtop, which the most important distinction is that it is pillarless. To me, that makes all the difference in the world. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh yeah, I'd rather have this than a coupe. I think the coupe is absolutely number one. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a Skylark or a Tempest or a Le Mans or the Oldsmobile version or Chevelle or whatever. Yeah, the coupe is beautiful. But this in particular, this 4-door hardtop pillarless sedan or pillarless 4-door is, I'm gonna say, like 1A. Interestingly, it's not, normally a 4-door, anything would kind of kill the vibe. If it's not terrible, then it's just not nearly as cool. It definitely looks more like a family car or mom's grocery getter or whatever. But something about this particular sedan is just, it's beautiful. It's really, really nice. And they kept the exact dimensions of the coupe, the 2-door coupe, exactly the same width, length, all that good stuff. The only thing that's different is going to be the roof line, and you don't have quite as long of a trunk area or rear quarter panels. So yeah, I still think that the coupe is awesome, but bang for your buck and the money, man, I really, really love this car. I originally, when I very first saw it and the guy pulled up and he was wanting to trade, and I was thinking, as soon as I saw it, I thought, nah. Mainly because I can't get past the rear skirts, fender skirts. I know some of you guys are purists and you like that. I just can't. I'm sorry. I really wish I could. I just can't. It also had like a squat position lower in the back that I wasn't crazy about. But the more I sat there and looked at it, I thought, it's pretty cool. And I still wasn't going to do it until, I'll tell you what, I came home. I put the thing, I took a nice side picture. Came home, I went to work on my Photoshop, and I opened the windows because the guy had the windows closed. Opened the windows, I raised it up in the back just a little bit so it had a nice stance, and I changed different kinds of wheels on it, and I even experimented with different things like suicide doors or shaved door handles and all that stuff. But man, when you did some things to this car, I could see the potential. Like it shocked me how different it actually was. And right then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I have to do this. This car is awesome. So I went ahead and made the switch, and I should have made a video if I wasn't so busy, or if I could get it together. I should have made a video of the car when I first got it, so this will be a much more dramatic unveil. But yeah, I did some things to it that I think finished off the look, and I'm not done with it. I will never be done with old cars, right? But it's definitely looking much closer to the vision, and it's pretty much what I had discovered there on Photoshop. So anyways, before I get too far into exactly what I've done, or we do a tour of this car, let me quickly give you a brief history. The Skylark history is really long, so I'm gonna try not to get too detailed, and I'm pretty much just gonna cover up until this generation, the 67. I think this is the last year of this generation. But Skylark has actually had 6 production runs over 46 years. The Skylark name first appeared on a limited production luxury convertible using the Buick Roadmaster's chassis in 1953. And let me tell you, I didn't know about these cars until I started doing this research. Well, actually, until I started looking at this car and I started looking back at Skylark, and that trim level on the Roadmaster was beautiful. You can take 57 Chevys all day. I will take one of these Skylarks. 53, 54. 54 had the contrasting wheel well paint and I think some fins in the back or something. Either one, beautiful, amazing, so nice. But anyways, a Skylark had all the options. There was no AC, but everything else that you could possibly have, it was top of the line. It featured Buick's new 322 Fireball V8, and it was a 12-volt electrical system. Both were divisions first. They went away from the straight 8 for the first time. So it was kind of, Skylark was signifying something new. Roadmaster Skylark joined the Oldsmobile 98 Fiesta, the Cadillac Series 62 Eldorado, as top-of-the-line limited production specialty convertibles introduced in 1953. Skylark's run of 1,690 units proved to be the most successful out of those 3 models. So it was very successful. In 54, the Skylark was redesigned based on a shorter Century Special Series, Series 40 chassis instead of the larger Roadmaster 60 Series, which actually ended up being its undoing. So now it's hard to picture this, but in the 50s, bigger was better. Bigger was always better. So, you know, they kept the same strong engine, but they decreased the size of the chassis, which made the car faster, more powerful, more sporty by modern standards. But in the 50s, people were thinking like, well, if I could have something bigger and better for the same price or even less, why would I pay more for less? You're paying more for less. That was the thinking at the time, and it ended up being the undoing of Skylark, and it was discontinued after 1954. So Skylark was not a thing again until the first generation of 1961 to 1963. General Motors introduced a trio of new compact cars for the 61 model, and we say compact, that's in 60s terms, compact. GM introduced these models based off of the same chassis, engines, basic sheet metal was the Buick Special, the Pontiac Tempest, and the Oldsmobile F85. 1961 model year, the Buick Special Skylark made its debut. So it was actually, the model was a Special, Skylark was the trim level. It was the luxury trim level, top of the line. Luxury trim level is based on a coupe featuring the unique emblems, Skylark emblems, which were really cool, taillight housings, lower body side moldings, turbine wheel covers, and vinyl covered roof. The 61 Skylarks featured the 3 Ventaports on each fender on either side. Plush Cordovine, all vinyl leather interior was standard, with bucket seats available as an option. Skylark upgraded the Special standard aluminum 215 cubic inch 2-barrel carburetor V8 with a higher compression ratio 4-barrel version that boosted the power from 155 horsepower to 185 horsepower. So same engine, but just a hopped up version of it. They offered a 2-door convertible coupe and a 2-door pillarless hardtop. So that was the start of their pillarless adventure. The 215 V8 was retuned to increase power to 190 horsepower. In 1962, the Skylark Special was also the first American car to use a V6 engine in volume production. It actually earned Motor Trend's Car of the Year for 1962. This Fireball V6 was cast in iron with an output of 135 horsepower and 205 foot-pounds of torque. Road and Track was impressed with the Buick's practical new V6, saying it sounds and performs exactly like the aluminum V8 in most respects. 63 Skylark used the same chassis and wheelbase as the previous 61, 62 models, but adopted new sheet metal that featured boxier styling. Length was increased by 5 inches. Imagine 5 inches, that's a lot. And they just threw it on there. This is all in the same generation. The 215 cubic inch V8 generated 200 horsepower. So again, hopped up. The 63 Special shared most sheet metal with the Skylark, but was available as a convertible, a station wagon, as well as 2- and 4-door sedans. So this is the first time the Special actually ventured into station wagons, which were super cool, and then also sedans. Gen 2, 1964 to 1967, so that's where we are right now. 64 model year Skylark trim level had enough sales to merit its own separate line. So Skylark and the Special would move to a new 115-inch wheelbase, intermediate size chassis base, shared with the Oldsmobile F85 again, the Pontiac Tempest, and the Chevy Chevelle. 215 cubic V8 engine was discontinued and was replaced with 2 new engine options. The 225 cubic inch 3.7 liter V6 which generated 155 horsepower, or a 300 cubic inch V8 with cast iron block, aluminum heads, and a Rochester 2-barrel carburetor that generated 210 horsepower. A high performance version was offered with 11-to-1 compression and a 4-barrel carburetor generating 250 horsepower. So we're starting to get up there. The V6 and V8 were a similar design, shared the same bore and stroke. A long throw her shifter was available for the 4-speed manual transmission. For the first time, a 4-door sedan was offered in addition to the 2-door convertible, 2-door sedan, and hardtop coupe. So your first 4-door Skylark, which most of you don't care about, but I do. Hey, give some of us sedan guys some love. Inspired by the sales success of the Pontiac GTO, a Grand Sport option became available in mid-1965, offered as a coupe, hardtop, or convertible. The Grand Sport featured Buick's 401 cubic inch nail head V8 with a Carter 4-barrel carburetor that produced 325 horsepower. Unique Grand Sport badging, a heavy-duty radiator, and dual exhaust were also added. 1966 model year, the pillared 4-door sedan was replaced by a 4-door hardtop. That's what we're in. The 1966 2-door Skylark was available with the optional 340 cubic inch Wildcat 375 engine, which produced 260 horsepower and 365 pounds of torque with a 4-barrel carburetor. The 4-door sedan would rejoin the lineup for 1967 model year, making it a total of 5 Skylark body styles. So they actually had, in this year, they had the 4-door hardtop, and then they also had a 4-door sedan. So the sedan had the traditional B-pillar that you didn't have in this pillarless 4-door hardtop. The Grand Sport became the Grand Sport 400 to reflect the new, marginally smaller but more modern big block engine, and to set it apart from the new Grand Sport 340, a lower cost model using the 340 cubic inch V8, available only as a 2-door hardtop coupe. So that's bringing you up to speed here. The third generation of Skylark went from 1968 to 1972. They went with more of a fastback design. And then in 1973, the Skylark was replaced with the Buick Century. But never to fear, back 2 years later, the 4th generation, the Skylark was revived as a 2-door X-body platform, with the 4-door being called the Apollo. The Vendepours returned. 76, the Apollo name was dropped and all models became Skylark. Then Gen 5 started in 1980 to 85, and we started to get into compact, smaller cars. I think they introduced the 4-cylinder in 1980. So things took a turn from muscle car to, like most things did in the early 80s, they wanted to get smaller and more gas efficient, fuel efficient. Skylark went through a couple more. I'd say the highlights being 1987. This was the 6th gen that went from 85 to 91, but 1987, a sport model T-Type introduced with a 3-liter V6, which was kind of a sporty-ish, sort of like, I don't know, those special Grand Ams. And I think Oldsmobile Trofeo was an interesting model from Oldsmobile. They were trying to take, trying to put lipstick on a pig, I guess. But they were cool. I thought they were pretty neat. The 7th generation would be the last, and it lasted up through 1998. And it was just a wedge-shaped, terrible atrocity to man that we don't need to discuss here. So, going back to this car in particular, what I did when I got it, it needed all new brakes. So it got brakes, and it had the drums turned all the way around. It needed all new bushings and rubber in the front suspension. I put torque thruster 2s all the way around 15-inch. I was trying to decide whether to make it more modern and go with like a 17-inch, but I don't know, you just can't take the white trash country out of me, and I love just the old school look. I'd have probably done with 14s if I could have found tires easily enough for them. So I stayed with the 15s, got the Cooper white letter tires to make it look great. I had to address the rear suspension. The springs are just worn, and I'm thinking about station wagon springs for the back. They're like increased load springs, which will lift it up. But I also put, I also had air shocks in the rear installed. It's been working out really great so far. I've never had air shocks, so this was kind of an experiment for me, but I think so far so good. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback from other people that said that they've been successful for them. And the first mod I did, honestly, is when I first got in it, I rolled all the windows down. The guy warned me that they may, you know, the motors were kind of tired, especially in the back, but I thought, I'm putting them down, and if they never come back up, I'll be fine, because you have to display the pillarlessness of this car. It's what makes it. It's beautiful. So yeah, I think the raised up back looks 100 times better. Obviously the wheels, removing those skirts was huge. This has the 340, so the bigger engine. It was a factory air conditioning car, and you can tell by the red paint on the block. As the 300, I believe, had green paint. But yeah, there's not a lot that I need to do to this other than just keep it running. Who knows what will come up. I'd like to dress up the engine, make it, you know, chrome everything out, put some nice spark plug cables on it, and do what needs to be done. The other thing that for sure needs to happen is the interior was already done. Other than that terrible, looks like somebody reupholstered the dashboard with a wrestling mat, but other than that, the seats look pretty nice. But definitely what needs to happen is, oh, and I got black plates, which is a big deal for people here in California. But yeah, see that one, it's a single exhaust, that's got to change, and I think there's even a hole in that one, so it doesn't sound great, but it will. And then, oh, I guess the other thing, and this is, I guess, something I'm not used to looking for here in California, but this guy, and there's no rust on the frame, there's no rust, not much rust on the body, but ta-da, that would be the ground, so that's pretty bad. So I'm gonna probably have to weld in something here at the bottom of the trunk, but oh, all in all, you can see the body is pretty clean. Love the rims and tires. I didn't go with the all polished chrome because this car is a bit patina. Maybe someday I'd paint it, but right now I like it just like it is. So I wanted to stay a little bit more traditional. But yeah, you tell me that that's an ugly four-door. I dare you. That thing is gorgeous. So anyways, now you guys know what I've been up to. I hope you all have been enjoying your summer. I hope you all have enjoyed your rides. Post below pictures of your ride or what you've got. We're all gluttons for these beautiful cars, so I'm happy to have been able to show you this. But we do have another one that I want to show you that Papa and I did get that I think is pretty cool. And then we got to check in with some of my other friends that have cars and show you guys what's going on there. So I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate your patience with the long time in between videos, and I appreciate you hanging in there. I still like sharing this stuff. Like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend if you think it's something they'll like, and check back for more videos in the future. See you on the next one.